Good evening, ladies. In today's video, I want to talk about the hottest and newest meta in crypto, which is internet capital markets. I want to tell you exactly what it is and some projects you could keep on your radar. So me and Confugen in our last podcast episode, if you haven't been watching my podcast episodes, we've been dropping a lot of alpha in there. Confugen was talking about Dupe at 4 million, which is one of the first coins in this hottest new sector, and I think it pumped to about 80 million. And I also talked about Housecoin a couple of streams ago, and that went from like 7 million up to 120. So yeah, if you want, those podcasts aren't getting the views they deserve, in my opinion. So you can always just put them on as a bit of background listening when you're doing your chores around the house or something. As a side tangent, let's go back to the main focus of this video. What the hell are internet capital markets? Like I was talking in that stream, I always imagined that crypto is the perfect place to raise capital for for any company that you want to start. And right now that kind of idea is happening with this Believe app. So basically the idea behind this Believe app is that anyone can launch essentially a meme coin that backs their idea, and anyone who buys into the meme coin is believing in that idea. So the ideas are usually some sort of small little app, little niche app that, can generate a little bit of revenue, but it's not going to become the next Facebook, or it's not going to become the next Uber or something like that. Basically, it's for applications, like for the most part, it's for applications that don't have like this huge, massive total addressable market, but still can, get a few customers, get a bit of usage, and is a good idea in of itself. But it's not something that potentially VCs would invest millions of dollars in. It's just like a little niche apps that could take off. And Dupe, which we talked about in our last stream, the idea, this was already an app that's generating a bit of revenue. It's a very useful app. Basically, anyone who wants to buy a piece of furniture, one of these fancy pieces of furniture that costs, let's say, 10 grand, reverse search the image, or they can ask Dupe, is this piece of furniture, can I get this anywhere cheaper than this 10 grand price? And they'll actually source the original piece of furniture, because that's what a lot of these luxury furniture companies do. They just basically mark it up 10x from where it's being created in China, and you're basically, all that you're paying for is this like fancy branding. So a lot of these pieces of furniture are like, the actual cost from the supplier is like 1/3 of the selling price. So you can actually just get that piece of furniture directly from the manufacturer. That's what Dupe is doing. And this is one of the coins that really took off on this meta. So an interesting project. And yeah, we bought some of this. We provided liquidity on this because, and as a side tangent, all of these coins are getting huge amounts of volume. So if providing liquidity is something you like doing, this is a perfect area that you could be LPing coins on. If you want to know how to do that, you can watch my Meteora video up there. Basically go deep into how to do that and earn crazy fees on that. So a little bit of background on this Believe meta. So Clout.me was originally a SocialFi coin created by this guy Ben Pasternak, and it had a bit of hype for about a week. I talked about it in my Telegram. I was like, okay, maybe have a look here. I bought this Pasternak coin. It was the only coin you could buy on this app. And basically the app kind of went to zero and everyone forgot about it. I forgot about that Pasternak coin. And then it came back. This guy, Ben Pasternak, is a good founder. He knows what he's doing in crypto. Basically pivoted the entire idea from a SocialFi app to this Believe app, where you can back founders and invest in basically providing a seed round or providing VC funding as a meme coin. So this meme coin has nothing to do with the revenues of these like trendy apps or these trendy companies taking off. It has nothing to do with that. It's just a meme coin that's loosely tied to this idea. So it's not a security is the whole idea behind that. So basically Ben Pasternak pivoted his idea for Clout.me to this Believe app. And as you can see, the Launchcoin, Believe in Something coin, went absolutely crazy. And the reason it's gone crazy is that 50% of the fees generated by any of these coins is going to the creator, but the other 50% is going to Launchcoin. So it's like a very virtuous flywheel, and the fees being generated right now are absolutely insane. It's already like $100 million that's been generated by Launchcoin coins. That's like, you know, way faster than what even Pumpfun did. I think Pumpfun took like months to get to 500 million. This has already generated $100 million in fees. So it's partially very extractive, but for the moment, I think, you know, if this meta continues, you know, it can still do very well, because I think creators that have really good app ideas are like, okay, I need a bit of money. I don't want to bother going through the VC route. That takes a long time. This is a way easier way to make money. I'll just launch this coin, and all you have to do is tweet at Launchcoin and the name of your coin, and it will create a coin for you, and people will speculate on that. So it's an easy way to raise funds for your startup if your startup's actually any good. And the only way you're actually going to earn fees is if people actually believe in your idea. So it has to bond first, and it has to get to 100k market cap, and then it needs to start generating trading fees and volume. So Launchcoin is like a mixture between Pumpfun, Kickstarter, and VC Nasdaq investments, all on crypto rails, and it's earning a huge amount of fees. So in my opinion, this is by far the safest play that you can make in this new meta, because it has real revenues. It has, you know, it's kind of like the AI16Z of this meta. So if you remember, AI16Z just went straight to 3 billion. It was the launch pad for all these memes. It was the launch pad for all the AI agents. So this is somewhat similar to the AI agent narrative from, you know, Christmas time. It has some similarities, and if Launchcoin is to be compared to any coin from that era, it would be like a mixture. It would be a mixture between all the launch pads. So there was virtual, and there was AI16, which was like the launch pads of all these, and they went to billions in market cap. Currently, Launchcoin is $250 million. I'm not going to say it's going to get to billions, but if this takes off like the AI agent meta did, everyone's bored. Maybe it does take off like the AI agent meta, then that would kind of be the targets if it's in the same order of magnitude of interest. But yeah, pretty insane. This coin went from 40 million to all the way down to 300k, and then went all the way to 350 million, all in the space of a few months. So, you know, only in crypto. So right now, this whole meta had its first initial crazy pump, and now it's taking this first proper pullback. So do I think like it's possible that this meta is over already? But more than likely, in my opinion, it's probably not over. I think people are bored and they want to speculate on something, and this is an interesting idea. Do I think it's going to get as big as the AI agent meta? Do I think it's going to get even bigger? I have no idea, but I think it's unlikely that this meta is just like a flash in the pan. It's already over. It's possible, but I think it's more than likely this bounces back and makes new highs. So for me, the most obvious choice would be Launchcoin, but it's not going to have 100x return potential. For those 100x return potentials, you need to be investing in the apps, or you need to be researching into the apps that are taking off on the Launchcoin platform. And obviously that comes with way more risk. And there's not just like apps, you can also invest in the memes that are tied to this new meta. So if you remember, like, just to say it again, this potentially has no corollary to the AI agent meta, but it's the closest thing that we can compare it to. So in the AI agent meta, there were all these apps that took off. Basically 99% of them didn't really do well, or it was really hard to find ones that were going to pop off. The only one I can remember that was an easy buy was the AI XBT coin. So if you remember that little AI agent bot that talked to everyone and gave you alpha on the timeline, that was actually quite useful, and it was quite an interesting idea. And it's still, you know, giving ideas. You can still follow AI XBT for information, and that coin did really, really well. Also, AI16Z did really well, Virtuals did really well, and a few other apps did quite well. So, but again, the easiest ones to invest in were the launch pads, and if you were investing in the individual AI agents, you had to be a lot more selective, and you had to get in and you had to get out when they started pumping. So I think that's probably the way you need to think about this, for me, if I was to invest in this new meta taking off, I would probably put, like if I wanted exposure, I would probably put a decent bag into Launchcoin, and then with the AI, sorry, not with the AI agent plays, with the new app plays, I would probably, put little amounts and a few of them as like whatever the top bets, which I'll talk about in a minute. But there weren't just AI agents, there were also new meme coins related to the AI agent meta back in the day. And the one that's actually the biggest coin from the entire AI agent meta is Farcoin. So it's actually a meme. And there are also memes now being tied to this new Launchcoin meta, which we'll also discuss. So the easiest holes in the AI agent meta were the launch pads. I think it's probably the same way in this new meta. The easiest hold is going to be the Launchcoin coin itself, but probably potentially one that takes off the most is going to be a meme. And then the apps plays, you need to be a bit more careful with them, and you need to be very selective. So do research on all of them, or whichever you think are the most interesting. And you probably want to take profits on them quite quickly, because they're probably going to have pumps and dumps. So if you want to start finding some of these applications, you can there's a couple of sites you can look at. There's this Believe Screener. So this kind of shows you an overview of the entire market cap, the total volume, and even the fees. So over the last 24 hours, this meta has made $6 million in fees, which is really, really, really high. And it also shows you all the top coins in this meta. And there's also another one called, this is from X Ultra. So I'll leave the links to both of these in the description, but they're really useful. You can see all the relevant stats, and you can see all the top coins, the ones that are trending and stuff like that. And you can see all the top coins, and then you can go research them for yourself. You can see who launched them, you can see the market caps, everything like that. All right, so let's talk about some of the individual applications that seem interesting, and then we're going to talk about some of the memes. Which are the better bets? Probably the memes, but let's talk about the applications anyway. So the first application I thought was interesting, it's called Yapper. So essentially what Yapper does, it's like a little app where you can give text to the application, and you can give the video of, let's say, Donald Trump, and it's going to make Donald Trump say whatever you said. So it's just AI little application, super useful. I'd say people use this shit all the time to make deepfake videos. You can see a little example here.
Yapper, where you can make anyone say anything with AI and send your friends and family hilarious AI generated videos and roasts to make them laugh. Let's check out how it works. Let's go to Yapper. Let's get started. And then we could either choose from a popular source video, or we could create a deepfake, a roast, a birthday message, or a double clip. Let's create a deepfake to start. We can either choose a video or upload a video that we want, or even throw in a YouTube link. Let's go popular. Let's click on Donald. Let's select a custom video for today. We could say, Yapper lets you make fun of your friends with AI. Now that we pasted our script in, we can review, add advanced lip syncing. We can preview the voice if we wanted to, check the terms and conditions, make sure this is satire and entertainment uses only, and create our Yap. Now that our Yap is ready, let's check it out.
Yapper lets you make fun of your friends with AI, upload a video, add a script, and generate the video. It's hilarious. Use responsibly.
There we go. So we can download this and send it into our group chats and make our friends and family laugh like they've never laughed before. Check it out.
And now there's a coin tied to this application, which obviously people are going to use this application because people want to make little funny videos of someone saying something funny. Now the problem with Yapper, as you can see from the chart, it insta-pumped and then dumped massively. So kind of seems a little bit of an insider grift, which a lot of these coins are going to be. So just be extremely careful. So what I'm kind of looking at, be really selective on your entries. Don't just FOMO in straight away, because I think they only kind of talked about this after it already pumped to 10 million. They extracted a lot of money. They sold massive amounts. And now potentially, after all the extraction is gone from the founders, like this is going to be a theme here. So just be careful. Now, then you could potentially invest after there's been a big dip, or you have to be really careful on who the founder is, because from a little research on this, it kind of seems like if you see the initial buys and stuff, and they only really talked about it after it had already gone to 10 million, the founder did. It does seem a little bit extractive, a little bit, you know, sus. So potentially not an amazing one to invest in just on that idea alone, but just it is a cool app, and yeah, the chart does look like it's probably bottomed. So the other thing you can do, like I mentioned at the start of this video, is you can provide liquidity on this on Meteor. So these are getting crazy volume. As you can see, Yapper, $84 million of overnight volume with it only a $10 million market cap. So the fees you can earn on some of these is absolutely insane. Also taking a little bit less risk potentially, like even if the coin just goes sideways, you're going to make a lot of money. The next project I want to talk about in this meta is called Uber.fun. Essentially what this does, it helps you create Web3 applications, and it's kind of like its own launchpad. So you can create your Launchcoin. Basically, Uber.fun allows you to create apps really easily with no code. So like Web3 applications with no code. And then from there, once you have your application, you can tag at Launchcoin, create a coin for this. So this is probably going to lead to a lot of grifting because it's going to be so easy to create a stupid, simple app with no coding experience. Just create it using Uber.fun, tag Launchcoin, and now you have a coin tied to it. So obviously there's going to be a lot of grift coming out of this, but nevertheless, Uber.fun probably potentially could do well. Chart looks nice as well, as you can see. So here's an example of some more of the coins that have been coming out of this ecosystem or this meta in the last few hours or in the last couple of days. Fitcoin there is another one. So basically it recommends you, it's like an AI agent styling assistant. So that's kind of the idea behind that one. I don't want to go through every single coin, but here's some that you could look into if you're interested more in this space. Giggles, this application already has like 5 million downloads, and it's kind of like, I think it's a new social media app that you can create little TikToks or something like that and try and make people laugh, and it has a token tied to it. But here's some other ones you can look into. And here again are some other ones you can look into. We talked about Yapper, but a few of these I haven't looked into myself yet, but I just kind of want to give you an overview on the space. So you can kind of look at the smart money. Are they accumulating this token or are they distributing? So obviously you want to be looking more at the ones that are accumulating. So lastly, we'll touch on the memes. So the main meme that I've found, the one that I've invested in, is Unicorn. This went to 28 million, had a big drop, and now it's pumping again. So the idea behind this one is, you know what a unicorn is in startup land, because this is all about startups. So a startup that gets to 1 billion is called like a $1 billion market cap. It's called a unicorn. So that's the meme behind this. And it's kind of got the most mind share. It's kind of got the most interest. The other one is Goon coin. I don't own this one, so, but I think it's fairly self-explanatory. Yeah, so we don't have to get into it unless you want me to. So I think they're the two main memes at the moment. So keep an eye on those two. Keep an eye out for any other memes that are better than these, because these aren't that funny in my opinion, but that doesn't matter. Let's be honest. Like, people, like, what meme coin is actually funny at the end of the day. It kind of just matters, like, what are people on Twitter saying, what's the most likely to do well. For now, for me, I think it's the unicorn, but I could be wrong. So that's an overview on these new internet capital market space. I wanted to get this video out fast as possible, so I didn't get to research every single coin. So everything that I come across, everything that I think is interesting, I'm going to be dropping in my Telegram group. So make sure you join my Telegram group if you want to be updated on that, and make sure you're talking to people in there or in your own Telegram groups, trying to find what are the next plays if you want to be like in and out of, you know, these new applications popping off. And if you don't want to be, I'd say just get some Launchcoin, not financial advice, or Uber.fun, probably safer bets, or one of the meme coins like Unicorn, probably the safer bet. You can buy a small amount of it, forget about it for a week, and if this meta takes off or continues to take off or comes back in a big way, they'll probably do well. So really hope you learned something, really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Cheers.